up, everybody? It's your boy Don.
This is B.
And welcome back to Not Another Damn Podcast. So, after recording this podcast, Game 5 just passed. And the Kevin Durant injury we're going to get to, it saddens me. I'm not the biggest KD fan, but I'm not a KD hater. I don't like seeing things like that happen in sports. It's terrible. It should never happen. But injuries do happen. It sucks. The Warriors have benefited from a lot of injuries the past few years, but all in all, it was a good game. I think from start to finish, the Warriors showed grit, determination. Klay Thompson is showing why on July 1st, the Warriors should offer him a max deal. Steph Curry played great. Kevin Durant, for the few minutes that he played great. Even DeMarcus Cousins coming off the bench, I don't think he stepped the foot on the court until the second half.
It was after KD.
Kevin Durant got injured.
Mm-hmm. It was late in the second quarter, mid-second quarter.
He watched Kevon Looney get in the game before he did, so I know that had to suck for him. I think he used that as kind of motivation, and they were talking about that. Mark Jackson was talking about that.
He definitely looked angry on him.
No, he definitely looked frustrated. But yeah, from what I saw with KD playing, it just shows that if he would have been 100% healthy, I think Warriors would have won at 5. He was a difference maker. They couldn't run that gimmicky defense that they kept running, like boxing one / trap Steph every time he gets the ball / trap Klay Thompson. They couldn't run that with KD on the court, and he wasn't even 100%. I think I still have Warriors in 7. I have Warriors in 7. I think Nick Nurse blew that game for the Raptors down the stretch.
Yeah, no.
Me going back and looking at that, him calling the timeout after Kawhi was cooking. He scores 10 straight points pretty much, and you take him out when you're up. And then you call a timeout when you're up 6. Usually a timeout is called in a moment like that to stop momentum or to stop a run, or if you're a coach and you see something like, hey, look, I know they just scored one time, but I see the defense going this way. Nick Nurse called a timeout for what seemed like no reason other but to get his players rest. So I didn't agree with that at all.
Nah, I agree with you there, Don, and I disagree with Coach Nurse. I actually thought there were a few mistakes the Raptors made. Obviously, the whole night, really the whole game, and just really the aftermath just left a really sickening feeling in my stomach. Not just for the fact that my hopeful opportunity to pour Canadian maple syrup on your head is
not happening. I'm
pushed
telling
back at least another day. Watching what happened to KD, and KD used to be my guy. I was a diehard KD fan prior to his
you were an
leaving.
OKC fan.
Yeah, prior to his leaving leaving OKC, excuse me, to join Golden State. But with all that being said, I've become like his number one critic, but obviously a top fledged hater of his without question. And watching him limp off the court and just hearing the news of the fact that the PR wouldn't even let the media team in there, like Doris Burke and them. And Doris Burke is like beloved by the players, just to make things clear. Like they always seem to take a minute to talk with her, but even they didn't want her going back there either, just because it was like he was really emotional, and like I almost started shedding a tear for this man. Just
When you see
so
Bob
bad.
Myers after the game.
Yeah, he was emotional
at the podium. I think from the beginning, everyone knew that it was more than just
without question.
A calf strain.
Come on, man.
Like even if it was like something more serious with his calf, there was no way you sit out 33 days. He was out
33 days
with a calf strain.
He sat out an entire conference finals and the first 4 games of an NBA finals. And he was trailing 2 games to 1.
I think it was more serious than that.
I thought it was Achilles from the start.
The way I look at it, it's kind of weird because I don't want to place blame on Kevin Durant, but he's partially to blame, like this much, a little bit, just because I feel like he let the people get in his head, like come back. We need you, and I think he was feeling that pressure, kind of like Kawhi last year. I know you remember.
So Kawhi didn't let the pressure.
Exactly, but you had people like Tony Parker coming out saying, "Well, my injury was 2 times worse than his." But an injury like that, where something you don't know what happened, that person got injured, it's typically worse. I remember I popped my hip flexor, and it was a non-contact injury, and I was out longer than I've ever been out with any ankle sprain, any blow to the face, blow to the body, anything. It's because it was non-contact. It was my body failing me. So I think KD is partially to blame, like 1%. just 1%, just because
yeah.
he had the absolute power. He could have said, you know what, I don't feel like I'm even 90%, so I'm not going to play this game.
See, I understand your point, and you're only placing 1% of the blame on KD, so I do understand where you're coming from. But for me, I blame the Warriors organization. I thought that midway through the conference, I mean, if you remember, Steve Kerr came out, I want to say, after game 1 or game 2 of the conference finals against the Blazers, and said something along the lines of, this injury is worse than we thought.
Right.
I thought at that point they should have said, Kevin, we're shutting you down for the rest of the postseason. We love you. You've gotten us 2 finals MVPs. You brought us 2 championships. But we owe it to you to do what's in your best interest. I don't care how badly you want to play.
These teams are organizations.
That's my whole
they're
point,
like any other job, so they're going to work you to death.
And I'm saying that's part of the problem, though. Is the point I'm making. You know what I'm saying? We get it. These guys make hundreds of $millions. I totally understand that. But when you, first of all, you have to consider the amount of money they're generating, which actually under justifies what they should be making. Guys like Kevin Durant, LeBron.
It's crazy that they even have a cap. Right.
Exactly. So that you have to take that into consideration. But 2, I mean, long-term injuries. Who's to say, like, when this man has kids, like when he's, in his 40s, you know what I'm saying, is he not gonna be able to play with them? You know what I'm saying? Little things like that. That might not sound like much, but what was it? Derrick Rose, didn't he make a comment like that a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
Remember
he was talking about his knee. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was somewhere along those lines about how when his son gets older, he won't be able to do like little things with him.
And people were criticizing him for it.
On his body.
But it's like, bro, he's talking about his kids. He's not talking about like doing dumb shit. He's talking about like whether or not he can
the simple things in life.
His children's presence. And so like that's what I'm saying. Like, and I know what you just said. The Warriors, at the end of the day, it's a business. It's a corporation. They're gonna do what's best to generate more money. So this is the medical team, the front office, and all them.
Right.
They should be ashamed of themselves because they just altered this man's career.
What I was, not to cut you off. What I was hearing was that it could have been micro tears, and what a micro tear is, you can't really diagnose that. It's like a shin splint. Like, you feel it. It hurts. You feel the pain.
You talking about the initial injury?
The initial injury. It could have been micro tear. So he was feeling the injury. He was feeling it was hurting him. But when the doctors look at it, if KD's like, no, I'm fine, I'm in pain, but I can plan on it, I can play on it. Good shit. Excuse me. Look at Isaiah Thomas.
Right.
And what was that? 88 when they lost to the Lakers.
Yeah, he badly sprained.
Yeah, his ankle. He was literally limping down the floor.
Yeah.
Not like, I got a little limp myself. Like, no, he couldn't put any pressure.
And they said his ankle was so swollen that he like couldn't even fit his shoe on.
Yeah,
I think they said.
So that was game 6.
Yes,
right?
Game 6.
If you remember,
they should have won. But they got cheated.
I remember that Phantom foul. But if you remember, game 6 he played great.
And in game 7 he was ineffective.
Game 7 he was ineffective because that adrenaline's going. He should have sat out. But yeah, it's just unfortunate to see. And even seeing that video, like you can see something snap in the back of his leg.
Yeah.
And your Achilles runs all the way up to your calf, your inner calf. So
that calf and that whole thing was such a front. And like I said,
it didn't look good at all.
I think this was a case of the Warriors just refusing to accept their fate.
In death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps, and no escapes.
And again, I agree with you that if KD plays, and it's all speculation because we don't know. Do the Raptors adjust differently? We don't know.
Right.
But I agree with you.
From what it seems.
I think if KD plays, I said Warriors in 6 because I feel like part of what went wrong with the Raptors was they got fat and happy sort of after their game 1 win. They came out in game 2 and started off with a burst, but then came out flat. And then in game 5, I didn't think they were flat. I thought they were just nervous, just knowing that, oh my God, we have a chance to deliver an NBA World Championship to the country of Canada, the city of Toronto, something that's never been done before. And you could see they were nervous because guys were missing wide open threes. And the first thing you usually think of when players are missing open shots is it's nerves. It's not, especially if it's the beginning of the game. So I don't think it's late in the fourth or overtime. Okay, fatigue, but I mean, I think I saw Pascal Siakam airball a wide open three from the corner where he overshot it. So that's not fatigue, that's nerves. So
yeah, no, that's nerves. So what do you think went wrong for the Raptors?
One of the big critical mistakes the Raptors made was they treated the Warriors as if they were a team that had never been there before, as if they hadn't just won 3 of the last 4 titles, as if this isn't their 5th straight trip to the finals, because you saw after they took the 6-point lead, the next several possessions, they're milking clock, they're taking 20, 21 seconds off the clock, jacking up a 3 at the buzzer. Kyle Lowry driving to the paint, kicking out to Marcus All with 1 second on the clock, which might have not even given enough time to get the shot off. Anyway, throws it into the backcourt. So it was a thing that you and I have talked about on the show before when we've discussed previous games. I don't remember one off the top of my head, but the Raptors were playing at that point. They were playing not to lose,
correct,
rather than playing to win. They didn't they
always kills you,
and they had all the momentum on their side, like you said. I didn't like that Nick Nurse timeout. I have no idea what the logic was.
You know what that reminds me of?
What's that?
That reminds me of the Atlanta Falcons playing the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. The Falcons went up 28-3, and they started playing not to lose and not playing to win. That's exactly what the Raptors did.
You know, we'll take the clock off, as if they're not playing the greatest 3-point shooting team we've ever seen, with 2 of the greatest 3-point shooters, even without KD. And you saw what happened. They made 3 threes, and it seemed like 9 seconds. They took the lead, and then even after all that, they still had the chance to win. And what bothered me more than anything, there were 2 things that bothered me with the final possession. And I'm not even going to talk about the shot they got off. I'm going to talk about the fact that with 15 seconds left, they have 1 timeout left. Right. Nick Nurse doesn't call timeout to draw up a play. Didn't understand that. But to compound that, what they do is they have this BS play with Kawhi just sort of dribbling the air out of the ball, and it looked like he was taking it all the way down so they could get the last shot. And then once you miss it, the game is over. And it's funny because the first thing I thought of was 2 years ago, 2017. It's the first round, Jazz versus Clippers. It was game 1 where ISO Joe, who'd gotten traded to the Jazz that year,
ISO Joe Johnson,
hits the buzzer beater to clinch game 1 in LA. And they're asking Doc Rivers after the game. They ask him, and the reporter says, Doc, were you thinking about running the clock all the way down and getting the last shot off? That way you make it, you tie it, you send the game to overtime. And Doc Rivers is like dumbfounded, typical Doc Rivers. He's like, no, because if we miss, then the game's over.
Doug, when Chris has a lane to the basket and he goes for a quick 2, I mean, it sets up the opportunity. I mean, what's the philosophy on there? Is it, do you wait and say wave off an easy attack at the basket? Or, in other words, he could have held up and tried to run the clock down to the final. When you were down 2.
What? Who would do that? Why would you ever do that?
To maybe 5 seconds.
So
enough
if you
time
miss,
for an offensive.
the game's over.
Right. Well, no,
that
5
makes
seconds.
No sense.
Right. I'm just asking.
No, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
And it's like, I agree. Why would you? Because at least if you miss,
you get a chance for a tip in, offensive rebound, anything.
Yeah, or worst case scenario, you foul. And in this case, you're only down 1.
Right.
So even if it's Curry who comes to the ball, you foul him, you still only down 3. And since you kept your timeout, you can still advance the ball. But instead, they don't even bother using that timeout. They just run the clock over down and get off a terrible shot, which everyone was making the meme jokes with Lowry using the Carlton thing from.
Oh, yeah, no. You can't blame Kyle Lowry.
But he had 1 second on the clock.
He didn't pull a Russell Westbrook where he got the ball and wave KD off or wave Kawhi off. No, I got this.
So
this is how I view it right here at the end of the game. It was smart for Nurse to save that timeout. It was not smart for them to shoot the last shot, but I understand his logic. It's like, I'm going to compare it to football again. When you're playing against one of the greats, you want to give them as least amount of time as possible.
Okay, I understand.
So if let's say you're down by 4, and you're in the opponent's red zone. No, you're down by 2. You're in the opponent's red zone.
And you run the clock away down so you get the field goal.
You want to run it down to get the field goal, even though you know you can't run on time off the clock. You want to give that opposing quarterback. Let's say that's Aaron Rodgers you're playing, or Tom Brady. You don't want to give them time. Same thing with the Raptors. They didn't want to give Steph Curry time. I feel like they treated this game at the end of the game as, okay, in worst case scenario, we missed this shot. we will automatically have another game in Toronto.
See, and here's the thing. I do understand that, but in my opinion, if you're gonna go that route, use your timeout, draw up a pet play, and that way you know that we're leaving all we're leaving all hands on deck. And if they stop us here, all right, you tip your cap. We'll go back to Oracle and try to wrap it up.
So what I would have did was I would have let Kawhi dribble the clock down, and I would have waited until there was about 4 or 5 seconds left on the shot clock, on the clock, and call a timeout.
Yeah, I agree with that. I wouldn't have had a problem with that. Right, but the thing was, you didn't even use it, so it's like, what are you doing? Exactly. I am very glad I did not take your beard.
You almost did,
so bro. I'm telling you, I was so close. I was feeling myself. I was gonna be like, "Fuck it,
you almost did."
Because I'm not gonna jump ship. I'm a captain. I go down with the ship. You seen Titanic?
I have.
I'm like Captain Smith.
That motherfucker died.
Yeah, he went down with the ship.
Okay, I just want you to know.
He was a real one.
Okay. You seen Captain Phillips?
I might die.
I'm the captain now.
Yeah, I might.
That's what I am.
I might die. I might go down with the iceberg shit. I don't know, but I'm sticking to my original pick. But I'm nervous as hell right now because
you should be.
Because it wasn't just the fact that they lost Game 5; it was the way they lost Game 5. I mean, this was the epitome of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
I can't think of another series where a team loses like that and they actually won the series. You look at Miami and San Antonio. Mm-hmm. San Antonio had that game won. Right, LeBron comes down, misses the 3. Bosh tips it out to Allen. Allen hits the 3, and that game went to overtime.
Yeah,
they lose in overtime and then lose Game 7 with Tim Duncan missing that bunny at the rim.
Yeah, but he had a great game too, though.
Yeah, he had a great
shot
game
that he made throughout his entire career.
Tied the game up.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
The next series like that was 05. Pistons had this game in their hand.
Talking about Game 5.
Yeah, Game 5. Robert Horry inbounding the ball, passes the ball to Manu Ginobili. Ginobili is, especially at that time, 05 Ginobili, great playmaker.
05 Ginobili
not selfish. He kicks the ball, pass the ball to the corner. Everyone knows what Rasheed does. Goes over the double team for reasons unknown to the world because everyone on that Pistons team was a good defender. There was not really a liability.
Did you actually hear
what Rasheed said?
No, a few months ago, Chauncey Billups commented on that.
What did he say?
He said Larry Brown's script because he said Rasheed Wallace should have been out of the game at that point. I'm trying to think of another.
The very next one, I remember Pistons again. This one wasn't their fault. 88, phantom foul. Yeah. Bill Laimbeer, Kramer Jabbar. I've never seen a more perfect way to play defense in my life. He had his hand straight up in the air. He didn't swipe down. He didn't swipe left or right. Mm-hmm. Even though I did that backwards, left or right. And the Pistons lost that game. Same game that Isaiah sprained his ankle and then lose Game 7.
Funny thing is that you did take it a step further because the only other sport where you really see momentum carry over and it's played in multiple games in a series, baseball. You see it happen all the time in baseball too. Mm-hmm. Think about 1986 World Series of the Bill Buckner era. Rest in peace, by the way, Bill Buckner, because he just passed away a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, rest in peace, Bill Buckner. I think he had a hole in his glove.
3-2 to Mookie Wilson. Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
There was something wrong with the glove.
There was something wrong with
the ball goes through his glove.
There's no way.
And that Game 6 was had in the bag, and then they lose the Game 7. 2003 with the Cubs and the Marlins with Steve Bartman. I would say rest in peace because it seems like he's there because no one knows where he is. But leans out. Moises Alou had the play on the ball.
I love that guy. I don't know why I loved him as a baseball player growing up.
He was a good player, man. And then
pissed.
Yeah, he was livid. And then that was at home. The final 2 games of that series were home. They blow that game and they lose Game 7 at home. And then 2011 with the Cardinals and the Rangers. The Rangers had 2 chances to wrap it up. It was the 9th inning and the 10th.
How many chances they have? 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Trying to figure out why the hell you do it this way and not just like this.
I don't know because I feel like it seemed like it was more than 2 because it seemed like every time they had the Rangers down their last strike, Rangers kept getting hit, and then of course, like I said, Game 7. They end up losing. It just seems like I feel like there are probably like a handful of other series that we just glossed over.
If we can like
actually think in both sports,
think about it. Yeah, we can.
It happens. It's so common. But there's one thing about it that gives me hope is that was Game 5.
Correct.
If that was game 6, it's over, bro.
Series
It's over. There's no way you're gonna come back and win the game 7. But
series over.
And the other good thing is that this is where the 2-2-1-1-1 I think helps the Raptors in a sense, because now you're going away from home. You don't have that same pressure of your fans cheering for you. Now it's that you can kind of go back into that us against the world mentality, because a lot of people are already writing them off. People are saying, not a lot, but there's, I'd say at least 30-40% of fans out there who think, the Warriors got this. So now you go on the road, you not relax, but you zone in, you focus. Maybe you can find a way to wrap it up.
We got all that. We got the final position out of the way. I got one question to ask you. You're Kevin Durant.
Yes, that's the one thing I wanted to touch on.
You are Kevin Durant. Kevin DeAnthony Durant. I don't know what his real name is. I just made it up. You go into this offseason. What do you do? You have a player option.
His name is Wayne.
Okay, Kevin Wayne Durant. You have a player option. I think
looks like a Wayne.
30 million, 31 million.
That's correct.
Do you opt in, sit out the whole year, make them pay you, don't come back? Or do you opt out and hope a team like New York New
York. The thing is, New York would overpay for
But at this point in time, it's like if you opt out, everyone knows you're leaving because you're injured. You're not going to play until 2021. That'll be the next time.
The 2020-2021 season.
Correct.
You see, it's tough because there's two sides. It's like basically bag over feelings at this point, right? I mean, you can take that bag where you're going to get, what was it? You said 31?
I got 30 million.
31 million, whatever the case may be.
And don't play at all. You're not going to play. No matter where you go, you're not playing.
The other side of the coin is, could you just be so livid and disgusted with the organization? Because we don't know how this man feels. He might deep down say it's not their fault. He might deep down think like, damn, the doctors could have prevented this. We don't know. I don't know what goes on inside that man's head.
Right.
So if I'm him personally, I would want to get out of Golden State. I wouldn't want to, because I feel like sitting there just living there and watching that team play and ball and go have fun while you're suffering at home and an injury you
could have been prevented.
That an injury that only occurred because you were trying to save them. It would just make me sick to my stomach. Like, I wouldn't want to be anywhere around that environment. I would want to just get away.
I think the exact opposite. I will make them pay me.
Or that's why I said it's bag over feelings.
I gave you my pound of flesh. I keep hearing that word on social media and I don't know what the hell that even means.
What are you talking about, man?
But I gave you everything, and now I'm damaged goods. So I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna rehab. Because if you opt out, there's no guarantee you're gonna get the type of money. He is 32.
No, he's 30.
Kevin Durant? I thought he'd be 30. Oh no, he'd be 31.
31.
He'd be 31
before the start of the next season.
Not too long
from now. Age 31 season.
So
by the time he comes
keep
back,
injury. One thing that Kevin Durant has going for himself is that he's 7 foot tall,
and he's a perimeter player.
Exactly. But that doesn't help him because a lot of his game predicates on him being able to drop passes.
That's true. But it's better to have an Achilles injury when you can shoot a 30-footer than if you're a Derrick Rose who needs to get to the cup, or a John Wall.
Now, if I'm Kevin Durant, I opt back in. I don't want to hurt my new team. Let's say he does plan on going to the Knicks. Why would you want to hurt the Knicks free agents this summer and signing with them now, making them pay you this money where you're not going to play? When you can make Golden State pay this money, they can't get any better because they're maxing you out. They're going to have to max Clay out because if they don't max Clay out, he already said he's leaving. So now they have you that they have to pay that you get nothing from, and they have to pay Clay. Steph is already getting paid. So I stay.
All right, you know what? I just thought about it. I do stay. You know why?
Why is that?
Because next year the Pistons have a ton of expiring contracts, and we bringing KD to the Motor City. Hey, man can dream, right?
Yeah, motherfucker, you can dream. Martin Luther King has a dream too.
I guess that pretty much wraps things up for this podcast. I know it was a little bit shorter than our previous ones, but that's because we've got more content coming.
We definitely have more content. I've been loving the feedback that we've been getting.
Yes, thank you.
If you do have any constructive criticism, any terrible criticism, you want to come on the show, you think you can come up here, you want to have a debate, we can have a debate with you and whoever. Put you on the hot seat. Let's see if you really know what you're talking about.
Or, matter of fact, we could even do like call-ins for the show.
We can do call-in. It's whatever you guys want to do. Let me know. Let B know.
You want a live stream debate? We can do that too.
You know, literally whatever, we're open. But I'm loving all the support that we've been getting.
Thank you all so much. It really means a lot.
Everyone. We have one video already that has over 100 views. I know to you guys it might not seem like a lot.
For us, that's a milestone because we've
over
been
100
pouring our
views.
blood, sweat, and
that's
tears.
A lot. So thanks everyone for joining us through this journey. I promise you that it's going to get better.
Yes, sir.
We're going to upgrade everything and just stay tuned. So everybody, I'm Don.
I'm B.
And this is
Not Another Damn Podcast.
Signing off.
We out.